Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. Got another Nubeo watch for you guys today. And this one is definitely going to be, a real favorite for you space buffs out there. So if you are a fan of space and NASA and space exploration, look no further. This is the NASA-inspired watch by Nubeo. Now, I've reviewed this one in silver before. I'm not sure why, but this is a little bit different than the standard NASA Moonwatch that I reviewed previously. So a little confusing because they are pictured right next to one another. What they've done here is, and I want to be very clear, this is not a NASA branded watch, right? You do get a NASA patch with the watch, and I think that's what kind of ties the watch into NASA, but make no mistake, this is not an officially authorized NASA production, so just kind of keep that in mind. But it even kind of like, I'm not going to say fooled me, but because they give you the NASA patch, you think that the watch might be part of like a NASA branded release, but it's just not. So, and that shouldn't dissuade you. This is a space-related watch, and this is what they did with this watch. Although a small edition, I like it. I like the theme on this, and I like that they brought the theme really together on this. One thing I say in a lot of videos when it comes to themed watches, whether it be ocean themed or shark themed, and Nubeo does that. They have a theme, and I noticed a lot of the Dartmouth brands do that with a lot of their watches, whether it be something that's themed from a ship or a submarine. They kind of use the name for that, and then they try to tie that into the watch. Sometimes they do a great job, other times they just do an okay job where there's nothing really tying it, right, other than the name, right? With this is absolutely moon inspired. Absolutely, I get the tie with NASA. It's an awesome watch. This is a limited edition piece like most Nubeos, but let me just first show you the watch here. Hopefully the beauty of this watch comes across on camera, but just check it out, right? See if I can get this sucker to focus here. Alright, so hopefully by this video, I'm going to throw some pictures up here so you can get a much better view of what I'm talking about, and I'm going to come back to it. So, this is moon inspired, and what you're basically getting is a couple things to really tie this watch in. If you are a fan of the Sea Hunter, this kind of reminds me of the Sea Hunter as far as the bracelet. Not the size, of course, it's much smaller, but it's a very simple, clean watch. And again, if you are a moon buff, you are a space buff, this is definitely something to add to your collection. I like when companies do this because there are folks out there who really, are into different niches, right? Some folks really like Disney, like Invicta does it with a lot of their themed watches, whether it be your favorite sports team, whether it be like Disney or Mickey Mouse, Beavis and Butthead, whatever they make, there's something for everyone. And so I like that Nubeo did this. Space exploration, folks who are into space and astronomy, this is going to be super popular. So, so this one again is, and you look at other brands. So I had a couple cups of coffee if you can't tell. You look at other brands like Omega and the big heavy hitters doing that with like their Moonswatch, right? Except the Moonswatch is basically just kind of themed by coloring the watch a different color, kind of like the shade of that particular planet, right? So again, I get very loose connection to the planets. I mean, when we take a red watch and we call it Mars, I get the kind of why you called it that, but there's not really much going on there other than that, right? With this is absolutely themed, space themed, and you have a lot that ties it together. So when I got close to it, I want you guys, hopefully you can see, and the pictures are going to be showing up here where you can get a kind of show better with the the picture popping up what I'm talking about. But the whole face and the bezel actually has a texture. It's a crater texture that makes it look like the moon. Now, one thing to be noted here, when I got this watch, for some reason, this came with a brown bezel insert, which is more of like almost like a copper, and you can kind of see that texture a little better on this. When you look at the watch they actually have pictured on their website, it shows a black bezel. So I'm not sure if this was something that was maybe a different release of the watch and this ended up getting sent to me. Nonetheless, I kind of like that kind of contrast. But if you do buy this directly off their website, it is pictured with a black bezel. So I'm not really sure why this one has the copper bezel. Just kind of keep that in mind. If you see this video and you're like, ooh, I love that, you may not get this. So if that is a deal breaker for you, if you see the pictures I'm popping up here and you don't like the all black and you like this version, drop me an email, right? Maybe I can find out if it's something you can select, or maybe these were ones that they did a test run on. I'm just not sure. I don't have an answer for you. But let's talk about the specifications on this. So, again, I'm not going to read the whole spiel. Link is in the description. Read about it yourself. Japanese automatic movement, 3 hands with date. You have 316L stainless steel case bracelet, the whole thing, 316 stainless steel, 16 millimeters in that case thickness. You have 45 millimeter case diameter, although I'll tell you, when we compare it to the Manta that I just reviewed, to me it looks bigger, and I don't think that they're right on that, because when you look at a 45 right next to it, it definitely looks bigger. So let me just go ahead and put they might have a misprint there. Let me just see what this actually measures here, because I don't think, this is closer to more like 47, 48 at the bezel. I would ask them to correct that, but they probably never will. So anyway, just kind of keep that in mind. It is bigger than a 45. This is closer to a 47, 48. When you start including that crown and kind of crown guards, you're definitely kicking up to over 50 with that. So just kind of keep that in mind. The coolest thing about this watch is the engraving on the back. You have this sort of like space kind of theme there, and you have the moon. But what's really cool, and it's really small, on the inside there is a mini exhibition window. And in that, you actually have a piece of rare, genuine lunar meteorite. So that's what it says here. Will you actually be able to really see that? It is awfully small. And I think that's a little bit of a gripe for me. When I got this watch, I saw that. What's weird, the black version has that. The silver version does not, to the best of my knowledge. I'll go look again when I'm done with this video, but I'm pretty sure it does not. So I kind of like that they tied that theme in with the watch, but let me just look at the silver one real quick. Let's see here. See, it says it does, but I don't remember seeing that. That's interesting. I will put a note in the comment section here. The silver one says it has that. I don't remember seeing that exhibition window on the back of that watch. But again, drop me an email if you do decide to buy and you want the silver and that's important to you. I'll let me know and I'll let you know. But it does have that window. That's not like a little divot there. That is a mini exhibition window with a piece of lunar meteorite. I'd be curious to see what it looks like if you were to take the case back off, which is screwed down, and see what that looks like under macro lens. But I'm not going to do that. Specifications. As far as the other specs, again, 316 stainless steel, say 47, 48 millimeter case diameter. You have that 16 millimeter case thickness, nice tall wrist presence. Automatic movement, I don't know which one it is. It's a Japanese automatic. Could be Miyota, might not be. I just don't know. And you have a sapphire lens, anti-reflective coating. You have a milled clasp with a dual push button safety deploying lock on it, right? And you have 3 different positions on micro adjustments, pretty standard on Nubeo watches. They're all pretty similar with their clasp. I like that they do more than just a standard like friction clasp you see on like Invictas. I think it works, don't get me wrong, but this is just very easy to take on and off, and it's very secure, right? I just feel like it's maybe a long term better. I don't know, I haven't had any problems with anything, but just kind of keep that in mind. It is a unidirectional rotating bezel, but there's really nothing to rotate, so they might as well have just made it fixed. You do have some lume on this, but I don't know how great it is or what kind it is. Again, I can only harp on it so much. Nubeo, I wish they would just add more information. Take some notes from Oceaniva. Oceaniva puts every little bit of specs on their website, because let's face it, guys, not everybody's as kind of laid back as I am when it comes to watch collecting. Some folks really kind of chase the specs. Is it right or wrong? Doesn't matter what I think, but it is important to folks, and I think that it would definitely help their brand and help their sales having all those specs on there, because it might be, somebody might say, hey, I need to know the movement. I'm not going to spend the money on it. So 20 ATMs of water resistance, and the case, the presentation on this is awesome. Let me put it down, then we'll throw on some wrist shots. Bright red Nubeo box, pretty cool. But it is just cardboard, nothing really fancy, Nubeo branding. Then you open it up, and I like what they did on this. They have your standard dive case. Many brands use these. These are kind of like a universal case. I like them a lot more than the Invicta presentation. The Invicta watch is for one watch. It's like this big square box. So you can't really use it for anything else. This is great. I like to repurpose these for ammo, for little trinkets, toys, not toys, but like parts and tools, stuff like that in my garage. They're fantastic, again, for ammo. And we use these, like I've been bringing in previous years when we go on the boat for crabbing, I'd be bringing like one of my 3-slot Invictas. It's just huge. And most of the time, all I have in there is my cell phone. With this, this is perfect for little electronics, right? Open it up here, and you have, this is what I was talking about with that NASA patch. You have a NASA patch, but it is, there's nothing on the watch. It is not authorized to put any NASA branding on the watch. So what they did here is they actually just threw in the NASA patch because it kind of ties the watch in with space, and I think people kind of see that and they're like, ooh, NASA, but just keep in mind there is no other NASA branding on anything made by Nubeo with this. I do like the white interior on the top, right? It's a little different. We normally see black. You do get the tool, and you do get the hang tag, manual, all that stuff, but I like that they also give you this kind of like, very similar like the Moonwatch's canvas strap. And so it's all Velcro. You do have the American flag. So when you see this, you definitely kind of feel like this is like, ooh, it's like NASA, but it's not. You could also rock this as a bracelet if you want, right? I'm not sure if you want to do that, but totally up to you. When you pop this watch, and I'm not going to do it for purpose of video today, when you pop this on the red and black strap, it really makes the watch look unique and different. Without the strap, it just kind of, it looks like a black watch again, but still pretty awesome. If you are a space guy, this is definitely one to add to your collection. As far as price point on these, they only have 2 variations on this watch. They have the black and they have the silver. Price on these right now is $910. These are limited edition. I don't know. I believe they're limited edition. I don't see any numbers on these. Normally Nubeo will put a tag in here. Let me just see what they actually state on the main page here. Maybe they're not limited edition. No, it does say limited edition. See if they actually have. Normally they include the number on the box. This says on the watch itself, number 200 of 390. So not too limited. 390 is still a lot of watches, but if you look at the entire world, of course, like that is pretty limited. So great looking watch. If you look for something black, dark, space related, look no further. All right, let's throw on the wrist, show you what it looks like. So I'm about 5'8", weigh about 180 pounds, have a 7-inch wrist, and this is what it's going to look like in a guy my size, my height, and my weight. I like, again, I know you probably can't see by the resolution on this camera here. Let me turn off the ring light for a second, see if you can, that's a little better. You get a lot of reflection here. But you can see the craters on the face, basically made to look like the moon. Let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the pictures I've been popping up here with the dark bezel or the copper? I think the copper kind of makes it pop a little more. So, not sure. I mean, they're both nice looking. Whether you get the black, whether you're shipped the copper. I assume that you're probably going to get the black. But what I think might have happened here is maybe they made both variations, and maybe when they ship this out, maybe they only had a couple and they decided for the purpose of the video, because it's a review and these are sponsored videos, that they'd send me just this one, but I'm just curious of what the actual model number says on the watch. Let's see. Limited edition, water resistance 200 meters, 6072. Yeah, so it's still 6702, but the color variation would be, this is the one they have on the site is -22. Not sure about this particular one. So I am curious to go look at my silver version and see if that has that exhibition window. I don't think it does. And I think what they probably did was maybe add that to some of the watches. So I just want you guys to be very aware that if you do get the silver version, you may get one that doesn't have that exhibition window with that piece of meteorite. That might be a deal breaker for some, because it is pretty cool to have that. But I do wish they would have made that a lot larger. They have 3 different colors, the black, the silver, and they have the blue label, what I'm calling a blue label. It's gold and blue. So great looking watch. All of them are $910. Pick your favorite. You'll be happy with it. So if I can help you guys in any way, drop me a comment, drop me an email. I want to thank Nubeo again for the generosity and working with Fat Cat Collections. It's been great to share these great watches with you. And remember, when it comes to watches, value is subjective. Some might look at the price points and say, oh, it's a little steep. Some might look at it and say it's not bad. Remember, there's all kinds of price points. If a brand, luxury brands could charge 20 grand for a watch, Nubeo can charge 900 for a watch. When you look at the quality differences across these different brands, there's not a lot of difference as you start to spend more. Ultimately, what makes you want to buy a watch is, one, being a smart shopper, getting it for the price that's going to make you happy, that you feel comfortable with. I've had plenty of times that I bought a watch, and the next thing you know, like a year later I see it in Invicta, right? You know, where I paid $400 for a watch, then they came out with a big production run and they have this huge sale and it's like $200. So again, sometimes we buy things and you get amazing values. Other times you pay a little more. Ultimately, in my opinion, when you buy luxury brands, you're getting, I mean, in my opinion, it's a ripoff to charge 20 grand for a watch. But that is subjective. Always buy what makes you happy. And if I can help in any way, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day and take care.